I think, there's a responsibility that comes along with the job being here. I just want to help any way possible. So if there's any information I can share or help in any way, I'm a voice my opinion on that. And if it's something that blends well with what we do defensively, then it's all good. But, just sitting with Coach Frost early on, he said, he wanted me to come in here and not sit and just wait, just be able to jump in and just dive in and start working. That's what I've been doing.
And it's a similar way that you want your players to come in too, right? Is to come in and just kind of dive right in and get after it.
Just jump in, play fast, and see how you can help the team. If you're really here to try to help our team get better, you can do anything possible. So it doesn't matter about sitting there. It does no good for anybody. Sit back and wait and be asked to help out here and there. It's the same thing when you're walking down the hallway. If you see trash, pick it up, put it in the trash can. So it's no different.
Some of the offensive coaches have mentioned the D-line as a position group that's drastically improved from last year. Have you seen those guys improve just in your short time?
No, yeah, just every day, from not only out there in the practice field, but also in the meeting rooms. I can see their football IQ raised more and more. They're doing a great job in the meeting rooms, attacking the meetings just as well as they attack on the field in the drills. And, we talk about all the time when we were in individual period, we try to play the game within the scheme of the defense, and also the game within the scheme of the drill. So they're doing a really good job in trying to do that.
Tony, Darian Daniels' name has come up a lot this spring. I'm sure you've talked about him, but to ask again about the impact that he's been able to have as a new guy, what are your feelings there?
It's great. Love him in the room. I think all the guys feel the same way about him. He just comes in here with the mindset to try to help the team any way possible. He's a vocal leader, but he also shows by example. And I think first and foremost for him, people know that he generally cares about the team and about his teammates. So he's an unselfish guy. He's not a me guy. So those type of guys, people kind of look up to them and want to follow them anyway.
What kind of an example does he set for Damien in particular? Are you able to see that in practice? See the way that the two of them interact?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they talk. They actually really coach each other up. So when we're in one-on-one pod drill versus offensive line, or whether in pass rush, when one takes a rep and they come off, they speak to each other. They're an extra set of eyes for each other, so they coach each other up, and that's awesome to see. So they hold each other accountable in that way.
What do you see as Damien's ceiling? I mean, how good can he be?
I think he can be a really good football player. I think he's a guy that commands four hands. I don't think you can single block him. He can control A-gap to A-gap. And in our 3-4 scheme, you got to have that type of player. So, the sky's the limit for him. And there's a place for big guys like that, on the defense, especially when you want to stop the run. You want to have guys like that. And it's hard to find those guys. Not only the skill set that he has, but the mentality. Like, he is a tough, true alpha male guy, And so him and his brother are the same way. So I feel like we're very blessed to have those two brothers on our team, really, as a nose guard.
Damien's interesting because he seems kind of like a light-hearted guy. So there's a switch.
There's definitely a switch in those guys for sure. Damien, he's like a big teddy bear.
Yeah.
And then yesterday he was in meetings and for some reason he was a little bit grumpy. So he had a little chip on his shoulder because his brother sat in his chair. So he wanted to have his chair and his brother wouldn't give it to him. So it was I'm sitting there watching two brothers argue, and so he was in a bad mood the rest of the day. So he's got to switch. Oh yeah, they got it.
Interesting.
You guys are now 3-4 weeks into spring practice. From what you saw on film when you came here, the defensive line last year, how much has this group surprised you this spring?
They've made tremendous strides. I'm really proud of them. They play hard. The effort's been great. They've been soaking in all the drills and how to use those drills to their advantage in 11-on-11 situations. And there's been tremendous growth, especially in the run game. And those guys have also equally been good in trying to affect the quarterback in the pass game. So they've shown up, and the challenge for us is to be able to show up every single practice. And I thought today there was a little dip mentally. I didn't think we were mentally as tough as we were in the first 10 practices. So that's something that we got to hold ourselves accountable to that and be able to come back and bounce back in practice 12.
With Damien, so we've talked about his ceiling, but what does he still need to do to keep rising? What parts of his game?
He's got to get in shape. For a big guy like that, if we can push his threshold and get him to about 5 snaps or so, which he's been doing a good job of trying to do that. For big guys like that, if they can play a lot of reps, that'd be great. When I was with the Cleveland Browns, we drafted Danny Shelton at the 12th pick of the draft, and one of the things that was most impressive about him is when we studied him and we watched him, he was playing against Stanford, and he played 90 reps in that game. And that was one of the things, like for a big, massive guy like that to play that many reps, that was super, super impressive. So I think in terms of Damien, if he can push himself to that threshold to be able to stay on the field for a long period of time, that's an advantage for us.
Deandre Thomas was talking about how he's put on some weight in the offseason, 300. I guess, what do you see? What do you like out of him at that weight?
He's at that weight, he's able to be more stout for us in the run game. Obviously, you guys hear me say it over and over again. I spend a lot of time talking about the run because this league, it's all about that. And we got to have that physical mentality. So he's more stout at the run game for us. He's doing a better job striking, using his hands. But then he's also athletic enough to be able to transition and help us out in the pass rush.
Today, as opposed to maybe 3 weeks ago, how much have you noticed the mental effort improve with the guys as opposed to just the physical effort maybe at the beginning of camp?
Oh, it's been great. The guys been flying around really, really good, and I'm impressed with that. We talk about that every practice. It's about how relentless are we to the football. Are we running to the football to get a plus on the grade sheet? Or are we running to the football with malicious intent to try to get the ball back? It's two big differences there. So
you're still kind of young in Lincoln. Is there anything about it that you particularly like?
Lincoln,
yeah.
Oh yeah, I love just coming to work, and I think my family's moving here shortly, so I'm definitely excited about that. But the people have been great here in Lincoln. Everywhere I've been, whether it's going to eat or something like that, everybody loves Nebraska football, so that's been really awesome. And there's a couple good steak spots that I've been able to find out that I really like. So the meat here is a little different. I like that.
All right.
How do you go about trying to move 7 kids?
We got to do it. We got to do it in waves. So, my 2 oldest boys arrived last night. So they're here. They're in California time, so they didn't make it to practice here. So they slipped in, and so they start school tomorrow. So looking forward to that. And then the rest of the group will come out at the end of May.
How old are those boys?
17 and 15. So a junior and sophomore.
What high school they?
They're going to go to Southeast High School. Yeah. So they start tomorrow. So they're excited about
tomorrow.
it. Yeah, they start the school tomorrow.
Football players?
Yeah, they play football. They play some rugby. Throw them in wrestling. I mean, when you have kids, some of you guys know if you have kids, man, you try to tire them out. So I'm throwing them in everything. So, yeah.